Like most North American children who grew up in the 90s, my first exposure with anime was with Pokemon and Sailor Moon. However, there was also one anime that was unlike anything else we have ever seen on television, and that of course was Dragon Ball Z. A series filled with over-the-top action and green slugmen.
Shut the hell up.
Today on Down the Weeaboo Hole, I'll be talking about my top 10 favorite Dragon Ball characters. There won't be any from Dragon Ball Super since I'm only watching the dub and it's not even close to being finished. So I'm only going to be picking characters from the original Dragon Ball and Z. Yeah, no one from GT is on the list. Also, there's spoilers. So without further ado, let's get started.
Could you tell me where I might find the Global Broadcasting Room?
Upstairs on the left, sir, in Studio B.
Upstairs. Thank you, miss.
Starting off the list is Dr. Gero's most powerful creation. I still remember when I was a kid and I watched Cell devour the inhabitants of Gingertown. Truly, one of the most terrifying moments in Dragon Ball history. However, then I saw Cell's design and instantly fell in love with the character. His beetle-like appearance and threatening demeanor made Cell stand out as the newest threat for Goku and his friends. But what really set Cell apart from the other antagonists in the series was that he was a fusion of Goku and Vegeta, sprinkled with some Frieza and Piccolo, and topped off with even more characters. And this gives him access to a wide array of attacks and powers, including the Kamehameha and Piccolo's regeneration. Even in his imperfect form, Cell was a major threat and he only got worse as he absorbed the androids and became stronger. When Cell finally reaches his perfect form, we are introduced to a character that shares Goku's personality, and this is why I enjoyed Cell so much. He was a destructive killing monster, but he also wanted a challenge, and he gave Earth a fighting chance. He created his own tournament just to show off his skills, and you kinda have to respect the man for just wanting a good fight.
Please, what are you glaring at?
Whoa, Mondo cool.
That's right, boys. Mondo cool. But get a good look at it now. Because once I'm through with Frieza, there'll be no need to resuscitate any of you three.
Vegeta is a bitch. A whiny, self-absorbed crybaby that will always come in second place behind Goku. And that's why I love him. Vegeta tries his absolute best to get one up on Goku, but ultimately never succeeds. The poor guy is so obsessed with beating Goku that he sells his soul for a power boost. But it's this reason that you just can't help admire the guy. He has a goal in life and he will do whatever it takes to achieve it. One of Vegeta's best moments is how he achieves Super Saiyan through his own willpower. He refuses to be left behind. Vegeta also has the best character arc in the series. He's a villain at first, and then an ally against Frieza and Cell, and eventually starts to settle down on Earth with his own wife and son. Vegeta even sacrifices his own life in order to save the planet he was originally going to destroy. It sure is fun to rag on Vegeta, but there's no denying that the Prince of Saiyans is Mondo cool.
You monkey!
When you think of Dragon Ball villains, the first person to pop into your mind is probably the space tyrant Frieza. Frieza has become one of the most iconic villains in all of anime, and he deserves it. Frieza is a horrible person. He is selfish and brutal, and just makes for the perfect antagonist. He is evil just for the sake of being evil. Frieza has a fantastic design that just gets better with every incarnation. My personal favorite form is when he looks like a xenomorph from Alien. And I think we can all agree that Frieza blowing up Krillin was both incredibly sad, but also hilarious. There's just something about Frieza that you just love to hate. You watch him hunt down all your favorite characters, and then you get such a wonderful payoff with Goku going Super Saiyan, and finally seeing Frieza get his ass kicked. I also found it hilarious that Frieza was able to become Golden Frieza after 4 months of training. It just shows how ridiculously strong he is. I know that Frieza has a bigger role in Super down the line, and I can't wait to see what this tiny tyrant has in store for his monkey adversaries.
Huh? Oh, nothing like a good stretch on the floor to get you really worked up, you know.
It's okay, Saya. Crying is therapeutic.
I've never shed a tear in my life, Chew.
I love the original Dragon Ball so much, and part of why I love it is because of Goku's first major antagonist, Emperor Pilaf. Pilaf and his team of Shu and Mai kept me entertained every time they appeared on screen. They remind me of a more capable Team Rocket, but they're still pretty useless. The major reason I love Pilaf is how he just returns in every arc in Dragon Ball. Every time I forget about the guy, he just comes back and I get so excited to see what crazy antics his team will get into. Pilaf, although a bumbling idiot, has also indirectly almost destroyed the world so many times, as seen in the Demon King Piccolo saga where it's his fault that King Piccolo returns. And I'll never forget when I was watching the last arc of the original Dragon Ball and Pilaf returns for one last time. It was the perfect way to end the series. And when I saw Pilaf with Shu and Mai return in Super, I lost it. I can't wait to see what crazy antics this trio is going to get themselves into.
Oh, you're in love with me? Oh, with me?
Of course. I really am.
Are you telling the truth?
Just look into my face. Can't you see it for yourself? See?
I remember when I was like you, making fun of Yamcha for being a weakling in Dragon Ball Z, but then I watched Dragon Ball and realized that I misjudged Yamcha. Yamcha at the start of the series begins as a desert bandit who is afraid of any interaction with women. However, he gets over his fear of women and eventually dates Bulma. He also becomes one of Roshi's students and learns the Kamehameha, and he has the coolest move in the entire series, the Wolf Fang Fist. And even after Tien breaks his leg, Yamcha is the bigger man and accepts Tien's apology. I know a lot of people like to make fun of Yamcha for losing Bulma to Vegeta, but is Bulma really something to be bragging about? She's super annoying, and her only benefit is that she's rich, and now she has a husband who is more concerned with another man than he is of her. Yamcha, on the other hand, is a world-class baseball player, and he can have any woman he wants. I think it's pretty obvious that Yamcha is the real victor of this story. It is a hard life being a human in the Dragon Ball universe, and although Yamcha is now a punching bag for every villain introduced in the story, I will always remember his glory days from the beginning of the series. I think it's time I talk about my favorite antagonist from the series, Mercenary Taa. He is hired by the Red Ribbon Army to kill Goku, and he almost succeeds. This was a major turning point in this series for me, because before this point, Goku was never in any real danger. He practically never loses any fight except against Jackie Chun, but now Goku actually loses a fight and almost loses his life, and this solidified Taa's importance in Goku's story. Goku learns that he needs to become stronger because he's going to be facing off against stronger opponents. Mercenary Taa was also just a hilarious character who kills people with his tongue and travels by launching a pillar into the air and then jumping onto it. He wears a pink long coat that says "Kill You" on the back, and I personally love his Dodon Ray attack, and like Pilaf, every time Taa returns in the series, I get giddy inside. And he becomes a cyborg later on in the series, and you just can't beat that.
Quit complaining, you stupid ox! At least I'll let you keep your teeth!
Launch! He's not moving, you got him! Come on, let's
You
go
want
in the
some more
house.
of this, you big sissy?
Launch? Who's that? Well, during Goku's training with Master Roshi, he was tasked with finding a woman. He found a woman, but she was actually two women. Every time Launch sneezes, she switches personalities. She is either a kind blue-haired woman who loves to take care of others, or she becomes a blonde-haired woman who wields a gun and is a master criminal. Either way, I love them both. They made for a great side character to have on Kami Island and helped diversify the character roster a bit. I was getting real tired of Bulma. The saddest part is that Launch just disappears in Dragon Ball Z. We see her with Tien a bit during the Saiyan saga, and then we see her for like one frame during the Buu saga. My biggest wish for Dragon Ball is to have Launch return in all of her glory.
You don't have to fight my daddy. There's no need to now, because I can tell that you've changed and you're not such a nasty person anymore. You're like one of the family now. Yeah, you're kind of like my big green uncle.
You talk way too much, kid. Be quiet and go to sleep. Tomorrow's lesson's gonna be the hardest one you've had yet.
Good night.
There was no way that I wasn't going to put Gohan's dad on the list. Piccolo is the father that Gohan never had. He teaches Gohan, he spends time with Gohan, and he sacrifices his own life for Gohan. Piccolo truly is the greatest father in the Dragon Ball series. Although Piccolo begins as a villain in the series, he soon becomes one of the greatest fighters for the Earth. His love for the Earth stems from his love for Gohan. Piccolo was always one of my favorite characters, even when I was a kid. He has an awesome design and his personality is cool and reserved. And it is always a treat when Piccolo has a comedic moment since it seems entirely out of character. I also like that Piccolo is never tossed aside like the rest of the non-Saiyan fighters and actually does things throughout Dragon Ball Z. And I think we can all agree that Piccolo shows us what a true father really is.
Well, I'd say 93 is the winner.
Vegeta may be Goku's rival, but Krillin is Goku's best friend. Krillin has a similar story to Yamcha, where he's ridiculed in Z, but he's incredible in Dragon Ball. Krillin at the beginning of the story is a little shit that has a rivalry with Goku, but the two soon become best friends while training together. The training episodes before the First World Tournament arc are some of my favorite episodes, and I have to say that Krillin's death in Dragon Ball is infinitely more tragic than his death in Z. The way Goku finds his friend's dead body without even knowing what happened to him created such a darkness in this series and was a perfect opening to the Demon King Piccolo arc. It's hard not to love Krillin in Z since he's a normal human who has to deal with such extravagant events and try his best to survive them. I love how Goku will sometimes tell Krillin not to fight because he's completely outclassed. However, Krillin still has his great moments like when he got drunk as a kid and defeated his opponent. So yeah, Krillin may not be the bravest or the strongest, but he sure has a smoking hot wife.
See, I told you there was enough room for both of us. Strange, it feels like there's nothing there.
Was there any doubt that Goku would be number one? I don't know how anyone could watch the series from episode 1 and not have an incredible bond with Goku. We watch him grow up and learn to fight, and it's something special. I don't know of any other anime that shows us so much about a character's life story. What is there to even say about the guy? He's dumb, rash, and is a horrible husband and father, but he's also heroic and kind and will always try his best. He's a character that you always root for, and when he appears on screen, you know something amazing is going to happen. There are just too many memorable moments to speak of, like his fight with King Piccolo, or his Super Saiyan transformation, or when he learns how to drive. Every moment with Goku is an adventure, and it is so easy to make a character who's super overpowered boring, but Goku never reaches that mediocrity. This has been Jake from Down the Weeaboo Hole, and Goku is my favorite Dragon Ball character.